Dominaria is on the cusps of an unseen invasion. An ancient foe again seeks its destruction, for those free to be bent to their will. In the name of the Mother of Machines, Phyrexians have returned to conquer the plane. Hey everyone, Simon here for the Aether Hub, bringing you more Magic the Gathering lore. Today is our first look at the story found in Dominaria United, one that promises to bring to a head the epic confrontation between Planeswalkers and the powerful Preators of New Phyrexia. Before we begin though, I'd just like to thank those supporters of the channel who have become members. As a member, you not only keep our content going, but you also get some awesome perks here on the channel. You'll get a channel badge next to your comment, the chance to vote on topics, and even weekly member-exclusive videos. I will always strive to make my main content free to everyone, but the channel is in need of your support. So if the perks sound interesting and you guys have the ability to, consider checking out the rewards you get for being a member by clicking the join button on the channel's homepage or the link in the description below. And with that, let's begin with Dominaria United, Chapter 1, Echoes in the Dark, written by Langley Hyde. Karn, the artificial planeswalker, has returned to his home plane of Dominaria. He had traveled the multiverse far and wide, helping the likes of the Gatewatch against numerous threats, survived the War of the Spark, all in an effort to return here, to face the true threat before them. Though intelligent, Karn wasn't as good with humans as he would like. Even some of his oldest friends, like Joyra, were left unconvinced that the Phyrexians had returned to Dominaria. They had died off years ago, and since those dark days, there have been no whispers or signs of their corruption. But Karn knew this enemy. He had been corrupted by them, tainted, and tasted their desire to see Dominaria subjugated. He could feel them. Even now, they had arrived. For some years now, Karn had been on a mission to unlock the secrets of a device known as the Silex, an ancient Thran artifact that is capable of untold destructive force. His creator, the genius artificer Urza, had once used it to end the first Phyrexian invasion of Dominaria. Now Urza's creation again seeks its power to end the threat posed by New Phyrexia. Karn has ventured into the caves of Koilos, the place where Urza had first discovered artifacts of the Thran Empire, a lost civilization prized in its advancements of technology, a trait that left them susceptible to the influence of Phyrexia. This cave held a great many secrets he hoped would lead to a better understanding of the Silex. But they too once acted as the first point at which Phyrexia touched Dominaria. Lingering magical energy that tainted Urza's brother Mishra, who would become Phyrexianized and lead that first invasion. To Karn, this mission to exterminate New Phyrexia was a very personal one. Phyrexia had taken his home and his creations, the plane of Argentum, his child, and Memnarch. Phyrexia killed his friend Venzer and countless others in their campaign. And in truth, it was all his fault. He had left his world. He brought the glistening oil that corrupted his constructs. Their fall was on his shoulders, a fate he would not let befall Dominaria, or any of his friends. It's why he was down in these caves alone. This was his fight. Though excavation machines broke down around him, Karn's magic made quick work of fixing anything mechanical in nature. And through their effort, they were able to locate a lost Thran lab and research notes on the Silex itself. Karn examined this side by side with the Silex, comparing imagery with possible instructions of how to use it. The notes were clear, yet muddied. The Silex must be filled with the memories of the land. Easier said than done, and much more cryptic than Karn had hoped for. Karn sensed another excavator had broken down, and went out to yet again repair it. At the wall in which it was boring, Karn saw a droplet of black ooze just making its way through the crack in the wall. He punched at the end of the tunnel, peeling back layers of rock to uncover more of this substance. He had seen it before, tasted its essence. Was this glistening oil on Dominaria? That could mean only one thing. His greatest fear was realized. New Phyrexia had arrived. Karn found fibrous tendrils interlocked with the rock itself. The arms of Phyrexia had dug deep. As he tried to rip them apart, they reacted as if alive and resisted his assault. The caves began to shake violently, its stability now in question, as the cave roof loses footing and blocks Karn from retreating back to his camp. Karn at this point knew two things: that Phyrexia was here, but that they were also contained in these caves, at least for now. He would continue forward, follow this corruption as it led him deeper underground. On his travels, Karn came upon a carving, one with fresh cuts as if just sculpted from the earth around them. It was dark and twisted, but matched the quality and tone Karn had come to expect from the Church of Serra. In this image, a Phyrexian demon grasps a young human woman. The machine was ripping at the flesh of the human, a depiction of the completion process in all its gory facets. Karn is startled by movement. The sculptors of this art revealed themselves. There were two, a man and a woman. Both had body parts replaced with machinery, a jaw, an arm, an artificial heart. They were no longer purely human, and yet not completely Phyrexianized. Their robes gave away their former identities. They wore the colors of the Society of Mishra, a cult of followers of a fallen brother. They attacked Karn on sight, swinging with the mallets and chisels they were using on this grisly monument, though Karn's body was far too solid and his reflexes far too honed. He dodged, parried, and pushed back his assailants, knocking them out and conjuring metal restraints to ensure they wouldn't attack him again. The man comes to, and Karn begins to question him. They're clearly still human to some degree, but they were still serving the Phyrexians. Why? The fanatics don't give up too much information, noting that others will be warned that he had broken the barrier early, and they would come to hunt Karn down. They also offer their unseen allies a blessing, the blessing of Gix, a former Phyrexian Preator and commander who had once marched on Dominaria. In severing the living cables of New Phyrexia, Karn had triggered an alarm. He quickly had to learn why they were here, but the man was growing more incoherent, saying that he knew of Karn, saying that it was a good thing that he had stumbled upon their den. He said, "The Whispering One has plans for Karn. He will serve Sheoldred. Karn will help them become one of them." Karn was shaken, taking a step back. He knew of Sheoldred from their time on Mirrodin, before it became New Phyrexia. She was indeed a powerful Preator, but how could she be on Dominaria? How could her body survive the passage between planes when she wasn't a Planeswalker? It just wasn't possible. That didn't matter now though. What mattered was that he knew Sheoldred was here on Dominaria, likely the head of the spear. If he killed this Preator, their offensive would come to an end. As Karn traveled deeper into the cavern, the tunnel gave way to a large expanse filled with the wails of misery, a cacophony of grief given off by workers who looked like ants commanded by their queen. Catching his attention was a large Phyrexian portal ship, one not unlike those used in their previous invasions of Dominaria. Beneath it hung a tangle of purple membranes, thick, living cables that held up its subject like a puppet, Sheoldred. When once her form was impressive, a patchwork of flesh and machinery that formed an arachnid body, what was left after her interplanar jump was tattered and destroyed. The essence of Phyrexia was keeping her alive, while tainted humans, who quickly became acolytes, tended to her recovery and prepared the staging area. This place was the start of the Phyrexian invasion of Dominaria. These new Phyrexians were busy hammering away at lost technology, stacking weapons carefully near the skyship, praising their defunct Preator, even welding away at an old dragon engine. It was but a taste of what Dominaria faced. A singular figure, a woman, tended to Sheoldred, one who wore the cloak of Dominaria Academy. With a mechanical eye, she dictated orders wordlessly to the Phyrexian grunts, who delivered her biological components from the dragon engine to Sheoldred. She was repairing the Preator using parts from the dragon engine. A dangerous concept in theory. Karn could retreat, dig his way out, get help, but his target was here, right in front of him, and with no risk to his friends being harmed. He would end this invasion now. He built blueprints in his mind, crafting something out of nothing, an incendiary device. powerful enough to blow away what remained of Sheoldred. Before he could begin his march, a horn was sounded. Phyrexian agents sprung to attention, arming themselves as large mechanical monstrosities began to move. Apparently, those acolytes he had captured must have been freed and warned the others, as Karn sees a red dot focus on the center of his chest. The personal attendant to Sheoldred, the former Tolarian academic, used her eye laser to pinpoint Karn's location and sent her minions after him. Though Karn tried to duck out of the way, the enemy was coming, and he would have to cut his way through in order to reach Sheoldred. Karn, true to his mechanical nature, a true weapon of Urza's design, executed his plan perfectly, cutting through waves of Phyrexians and corrupted humans. He had plotted a course that made his dash towards Sheoldred's body efficient, and just as efficient was his disposal of the lesser monsters. Once he reached the bottom of the Praetor's altar, he had only to contend with the 13 priests of Sheoldred, who all brandished chisels, saws, and spears at their lord's defense. Karn masterfully ended the threat these Phyrexians posed, until he faced Sheoldred's personal attendant, a woman who announced that she knew of Karn, that her master had told her all about the artificial planeswalker. She introduces herself as Rona, once the disciple of Gix, now follower of Sheoldred, or as she puts it, Dominaria's salvation. Despite Karn's plea to Rona's humanity, what was left of it anyway, she attacks Karn with blue electricity, ripping and digging between his plated armor as if looking for organs to steal for her lord. In a struggle to compose himself, Karn strained against his foe and plunged his steel thumb deep into Rona's mechanical eye, shattering it. She crumpled over in pain, asking Karn to finish her off, to kill her, for she was weak and unworthy to serve Phyrexia. But Karn stayed his hand. Despite what Urza may have wanted, he was no weapon. Karn approaches the inert Sheoldred, looking upon her broken form. He would tear her to pieces, explode her down to the last atom, end her in dishonor while she's weak, if it meant saving Dominaria. In that regard, he still very much was a weapon. He touches her body, using his magic to sense the inorganic material twisting through her, unable to read the organic flesh that still hung to her skeleton. Still, he could read her mind, her thoughts, and one of those thoughts whispered back to him. Sheoldred greeted Karn as father, referring to his time as the father of machines, when New Phyrexia almost corrupted him completely. Sheoldred entered Karn's mind, showing him the grandeur of Phyrexia's influence on Dominaria, how she had great plans for him. Sleeper agents have already infiltrated every land in Dominaria. Spies peppered throughout every government. Every military was tainted and ready to collapse from the inside. This was her mission. Sleeper agents destabilizing Dominaria from within. Not only that, each agent had a bomb planted inside of them, ready to detonate, killing friends, family, lovers, the people these agents once cared about. In anger, Karn opens up Sheoldred's thorax and places the bomb directly inside her body. But before setting off the device, his hand is stayed, but not by his own intention. Some magic was restraining him, keeping him from saving Dominaria. A figure moved just outside his vision, Karn unable to turn his body. It was Rona, dragging herself back from the altar. She admits that Karn had made one fatal mistake, leaving her alive. They had planned for his arrival, prepared for it in fact. The cavern roared around Karn. It was the sound of skyships ascending. This staging area was compromised, so they simply packed up and would move on to the next. Karn wasn't nearly as smart as they had anticipated. The staging ground slowly emptied, with Rona and Sheoldred being the last to leave. In parting, Rona explains that all of this happened simply because Phyrexia was the next step of evolution. This was perfection, and he was simply too stubborn to see it. He was their enemy because he would kill each Phyrexian just because they sought perfection. And with that, their final skyship departed and explosions riddled the cave roof. The cave-in landed hard atop Karn's metal body. He was free of Rona's spell, but unable to move, unable to free himself from the rocks. He reached out to his Planeswalker spark, that fiery essence that fueled his ability to travel the multiverse. But he couldn't reach it. It wouldn't answer his call to whisk him away. He reached out with his magic, sensing the inorganic material around him, the Phyrexian machinery, the interplanar technology. It it all let off a low-grade interference. It prevented his planeswalking. Karn lay there under a sea of rubble, unable to move, unable to warn his friends that Sheoldred was coming for Dominaria. And there you guys go, the first story of Dominaria United in the books. This was a really cool way to start off the story for this set. Karn's expedition to unlock the secrets of the Sylex directly mirrors his creator, Urza, searching for Thran artifacts in the caves of Koilos. And just like Urza many years ago, within these same caves, Karn found the influence of Phyrexia. Things have certainly started off hot, with the new Phyrexian forces already staged and ready for invasion, with the Preator Sheoldred looking to head that assault. It's going to be really interesting to see what her plans may be for the former Father of Machines, but it appears that Karn is once again caught in the clutches of the Phyrexians. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Again, thank you so much for the members of this channel who help keep us going. You too can become a member by clicking the join button above or the link found in the description below. You can also support the Aether Hub by leaving this video a like, becoming a subscriber, and of course sharing it with your friends. All of that goes a long way in helping our community grow. Again, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, see ya!